This Sorare strategy will massively help out those of you who don't have a huge budget yet but still want to slowly build your way up there and eventually also compete for the big rewards. It's gonna be a quick one today, but I simply have to show you this because I've done it myself. So give me a few minutes and you might be able to replicate this for your own Sorare club. Here we are in my own Sorare club, but I want to jump straight into a certain player that you might know or might not know, but that player is Cedric Brunner. He's a right back from Switzerland who's been playing in the Bundesliga for a couple years now. Solid player of average Bundesliga quality, but he used to play for Bielefeld. You see that in the jersey here, Arminia Bielefeld. And what happened to Arminia Bielefeld last season? They finished 17th and consecutively got relegated to Bundesliga 2. And in the last few game weeks of last season, that had already become more or less clear. You see, they were 5 points off survival here. So around 3 or 4 weeks before the end of the season, we could more or less predict them to get relegated. And that's why our good old Cedric Brunner here also dropped heavily. He was on a peak of 271 euros. That was in December of last year. But even there in February, he was still over 200 euros, the rare card. But from there, Bielefeld lost more and more games, and as I said, more and more people correctly predicted they would get relegated, so logically his price also dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped, and by the end of April here, he had dropped from over 200 euros all the way down to just 30 euros. And what a coincidence, I was the buyer here for 29 euros in April. In fact, I own 4 rare cards of Cedric Brunner, which I all bought here, 3 of them for around 40 euros in mid-April and 1 of them for 30 euros at the end of April. But why was he so cheap? Well, there's 2 factors. Number 1, as I said, Bielefeld getting relegated, and on Sorare, Bundesliga 2 players do not score points. They are useless in the game. The only second division that is covered on Sorare, whose players actually score points, is the Championship of England. And although Sorare do have the rights for Bundesliga 2 as well, alongside the Bundesliga, they haven't integrated it into the game yet. So a Cedric Brunner at Bielefeld in the second division would have been essentially useless for at least 1 full year until Bielefeld get promoted again, if they get promoted. So that's reason number 1, people wanted to get rid of him. And for reason number 2, we have to check Transfermarkt. Here are his stats of last season. You see, he played pretty much every game for Bielefeld. He also captained them once. But here in April, he suffered a serious head injury. Really looked horrible in the game against Wolfsburg here on the 9th of April. Got subbed off after 32 minutes. That was another factor. He got injured. So he wouldn't just be useless for the next season in Bundesliga 2, but already for the last games of that current season because he was injured. Well, he did play 10 minutes on the last match day. But here was really the point where people thought, whoa, he's getting relegated and he's also not playing anymore this season. I need to get rid of him. And that's the important point. Why did I buy him at that time? Well, I thought Cedric Brunner, he has a market value of 3.2 million euros, which is actually kinda too much for a Bundesliga 2 team. Well, at Hamburg, we have some players who are worth more. Weird flex. But generally, you wouldn't expect a player who's worth 3.2 million euros to go down to Bundesliga 2 because he could easily get a place at a lower table Bundesliga side or any other first division side that is covered on Sorare. And that's what I also thought. And after all, that was also what happened because he is now at Schalke, who got promoted back to the Bundesliga. You can see here for a while, nothing really happened with his price. Well, it went to 50 euros, but also went down again to 30 in June. But when he got the transfer to Schalke, boom, immediately 60 euros. So that was already a nice profit, but I did not sell yet because I was waiting for him to actually become a starter at Schalke. Because a regular Bundesliga starter in rare, who's not that old yet, 28, and scores decent points, is always going to be worth more than 60 euros. Now we had the first match day of the Bundesliga. Schalke played their first game again against Köln, and even though they lost, Cedric Brunner played 90 minutes and he scored 71 points, which is partly due to a nice all-round score of 13.5, but also he gave an assist. And then immediately after this game, his price went from 60 euros to here last sale 83 euros. And now his floor price on the market is 89 euros, almost 90 euros. So I bought these 4 Cedric Brunner cards for a combined 150 euros. And if I was to sell them now, let's just say for 80 euros a card, that's 320 euros. Quick maths. So an investment that easily doubled my money. I wish I would have bought more of him. And I haven't even sold him yet because I think if he keeps performing there, he had a few games where he didn't play. That was his head injury. But once he goes on a 5-game streak where he starts every game, which I think he will at Schalke, and keeps getting decent scores, then he's going to be easily 100 euros plus per card. And I'm telling you all this not because I want to flex or show off that I made a nice profit here or scouted a nice player, but essentially because you can do this too. Relegated players are always a place where you can make bargains if you know about them. I wouldn't go ahead and buy players who got relegated from the J League in Japan to J League 2 and speculate that they're going to get a move to a J League 1 side. No, because I just don't have enough knowledge there, and I wouldn't really know how good these players are and if they're good enough to get a move, how the transfer rumors in Japan look, for example. So that's why I do it in Germany, because there I really have knowledge, and I was like 80% certain that Cedric Brunner will get a move to a first division side, simply because I've watched him well enough. I follow the news in Germany closely, and you will also have a league where this is the case for you. And then for the teams that get relegated, there's always a couple players that won't go down into the second division with them, right? Always. Another quick example could be Joao Pedro. This man played at Cagliari in Italy for like 8 years, I think. He was pretty much always their best player and regularly scored double digits in Serie A, but this season, sadly, Cagliari got relegated. And this summer, he got the move to Fenerbahce in Turkey. And you see here on the 8th of June 2022, so after the season but before he got the move, someone actually bought his rare card for 163 euros. While now at Fenerbahce, the last sale was almost 500 euros. So you see how crazy players can change in price and rise in price once they go from relegated to getting a transfer to a first division team where people think he might score well. So if you're smart, use this strategy. Now there might still be a few players who got relegated and didn't get a move yet, but might still get a move because the transfer window is still open in most countries until the end of August. But generally you can always do this at the end of seasons, especially interesting in April, May, where people have already lost trust in players that will get relegated and want to get rid of them. And then you step in there and say, yo, I'm buying your player for a bargain price, and next season at a new club, I'm going to sell him for a profit. Or you keep them to play in your team, of course. Then you have a really good player in your lineup that scores consistently, and you essentially got him for very, very little money. So that's that. And now let's quickly go over our performances of the first game week of the top 5 leagues being back this season. Well, let's say this game week was average and we fulfilled our minimum goal. We didn't win any card rewards, sadly. Here I had a few good performers. Mark Flecken kept a clean sheet, Guerrero for Dortmund, Lucas Nmecha scored for Wolfsburg, Arnold always performs. Sadly, Wolfsburg conceded 2 goals though, so our Wolfsburg lads did not win a card reward. Decent performance still. Then here in the Underdog Limited, 2 of my players performed amazing. Sadly didn't help because the others performed subpar. But at least in the All-Star Rare Division, we had Weghorst who got an assist for Besiktas, Flecken with a clean sheet, and decent performances from the rest. So that gave us 289 points and securing the 250 points threshold. So first week, first $50 threshold money for our club. As I said, my goal is to hit this every single week. So minimum goal reached, but nothing special this week. Yeah, guys, just wanted to show you this very simple but very effective strategy on Sorare. Relegated players, not always, of course, but sometimes if you have a good feeling they're gonna get a move, they're gonna keep performing for a first division side, go buy them for a bargain price. Now I want to know, how did you guys do in the first game week of the top 5 leagues? Comment down below. We're gonna go this Sorare journey together this season. You can look forward to regular uploads, tips, strategies, and updates from me. Let's smash it. Good luck, manager. Sorare Fiago is out. Until the next time, and peace.